All right, today we are jumping into one of the most incredible chapters in all of Genesis. I want you to get this picture in your head. The patriarch Jacob, the one renamed Israel, he's on his deathbed. He calls his 12 sons to gather around him. And this isn't just to say a final goodbye. No, this is to deliver a series of mind-blowing prophecies that are literally going to set the course for the character and destiny of the 12 tribes of Israel.
But before we really get into the text, just think about that for a second. Seriously, what if your dad's last words to you weren't just fond memories, but a binding, unchangeable prophecy, something that would dictate your entire future and the future of your kids and their kids for generations? I mean, that is the immense weight of this moment. Okay, let's dive in.
So these are Jacob's opening words. You can feel the gravity, right? He's not telling old stories or getting sentimental. This is a formal, almost legal declaration. He is about to peer down the long corridors of time and speak the future of his family into existence, a family that's about to become a nation.
Now, you would think, right, that he'd start with his oldest son, Reuben, and just heap all the traditional blessings on him. But Jacob does the complete opposite. He kicks this whole thing off with some incredibly harsh judgments that just completely tear up the script of who's supposed to inherit what.
Just look at the contrast here. It's stunning. On one side, you have everything that should have been Reuben's. Jacob acknowledges it. My firstborn, my might, the beginning of my strength. He was supposed to be number one in dignity and power. But then you look at the other side, the reality. Because of what he did in the past, defiling his father's bed, Jacob hits him with this devastating line. You are unstable as water, and because of that, you shall not excel. Just like that, the birthright, the leadership, gone.
So after dealing with Reuben, Jacob turns to his second and third sons, Simeon and Levi. And notice, he lumps them together. Why? Because they are forever linked by a violent act in their past, that brutal, vengeful massacre of the men of Shechem. That one decision, made together, sealed their fate together.
And man, Jacob does not hold back. He calls them out, says their weapons are instruments of violence. He goes right at their out-of-control, fierce anger. The description is just brutal. In their anger, they killed men. What's really key here is that Jacob curses their anger, not the men themselves. He identifies their rage as this destructive force that just totally disqualifies them from any kind of leadership.
So what's the consequence? Well, it fits the crime perfectly. Because they acted in this terrible, destructive unity, their destiny is to be fractured and broken apart. They won't get a single, unified piece of land like their brothers. Instead, Jacob declares they're going to be divided and scattered all throughout Israel. Now, what's so fascinating is how this plays out over time. For the tribe of Levi, being scattered actually turns into a sacred duty. They become the priests serving God in towns all across Israel, turning this curse into a unique and holy calling.
So with the first three sons disqualified, the stage is now set for a really dramatic turn. The blessing of leadership, the birthright, it doesn't go to the next in line, it jumps to the fourth son, Judah. And his prophecy, it's all about power, royalty, and authority. The imagery Jacob uses here is just so powerful. He doesn't just describe Judah, he paints this incredible picture. Judah is a lion. And not just any lion, he's a lion resting after a successful hunt, totally secure in his strength. That question, who shall rouse him, it's rhetorical. The implied answer is nobody. Nobody would dare. It speaks of absolute, unchallenged authority.
And this is the heart of it all. The scepter is the ultimate symbol of a king. Jacob is prophesying that the royal line, the very right to rule Israel, will belong to the tribe of Judah, and it will stay there. This is a massive promise that echoes through the entire rest of the Bible, pointing straight to King David and beyond. And then there's that mention of Shiloh coming, a mysterious phrase that many see as a direct reference to a future Messiah, a king who would bring ultimate peace.
Okay, so Judah gets the scepter. What about Joseph? Well, let's move on to him, because Jacob's beloved son receives a blessing that's just overflowing with fruitfulness and divine protection. His prophecy is really a story about resilience in the face of impossible odds.
The prophecy itself reads like a little mini story. You have Act 1, the attack, the archers, and you gotta think this means his brothers, his enemies. They came at him hard, they bitterly grieved him. Then Act 2, his resistance. Despite everything, his bow remained in strength. But the most important part, the climax, is Act 3, the source of his strength. It wasn't his own power. No, he was strengthened by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob.
And because he endured, because he was faithful, the blessings that are poured out on him are just
Overwhelming. I mean, they cover everything. Blessings from the sky above, like rain, and from the earth beneath, like springs. Blessings of fertility for both people and for livestock. Jacob even says these blessings are bigger and better than the ones he himself got from his fathers Abraham and Isaac. It's just an incredible, all-encompassing promise of abundance.
All right, now Jacob turns to the rest of his sons, and their prophecies, they're a little more concise. They're like these quick, powerful snapshots. But when you put them all together, they form this beautiful mosaic, this diverse picture of all the different skills and personalities that will make up the nation as a whole.
Let's just run through a couple of these to get the flavor. You've got Zebulon, destined to live by the sea, becoming a haven for ships, a tribe of merchants and sailors. Then there's Dan, described as a serpent, by the way. It kind of suggests a tribe known for being clever, strategic, maybe even using guerrilla tactics. And then you have Benjamin, the youngest, called a ravenous wolf, which points to a tribe of fierce, tough warriors. Every single one gets a unique identity, a specific role to play in the future of Israel.
So after he has gone through all 12 sons, blessing each one with their unique future, Jacob's focus shifts one final time. He goes from talking about the future of his descendants to his own final resting place, and he gives one last, very serious command.
He is so specific here. He makes it crystal clear. Do not bury me in Egypt. Even though he's lived there for years, it's the land of his exile. He commands his sons to carry his body all the way back to Canaan, back to the family burial plot that his grandfather Abraham bought. This is all about returning home, back to the promised land.
And you have to understand the history connected to this one cave is just so deep. Machpelah isn't just a tomb, it's a physical anchor for God's promise. It's where Abraham and Sarah are, it's where Isaac and Rebekah are, it's where his own wife Leah is buried. By demanding to be buried there, Jacob is planting his flag, affirming his place in that great covenant and showing his unwavering faith that God's promise to his family is true.
And with that, his life's work is finished. The text gives us this simple yet incredibly powerful and peaceful image. He finished commanding his sons, he gathered his feet up into the bed, and he died. The great patriarch Israel was finally gathered to his people.
So that's where we end. This chapter is so much more than a father's last words. It's like a founding document, a prophetic roadmap that lays out the complex, messy, diverse, and divinely guided destiny of an entire nation. And it leaves us with this huge question to think about. How does the story of one single, flawed, complicated family become the actual blueprint for a nation's identity for thousands of years to come?